win the trophy, I'll bathe in milk. Welcome to the podcast. It's your three favourite people back again to talk about a game I don't have any love for at the moment.
The beautiful game.
It's not so beautiful right now. At least not for
game.
me.
Oh,
Very opposite opinions on football right now.
Yeah, polar opposites
just
actually. Because let's go to Ewan first because he's gonna want to talk about his club first. We know who this guy is. We know him. He's in the final.
I do. Like, you don't gonna want to do this, but I want an apology. Right.
I'm not giving you an apology.
No.
Because you said this like 3 days ago. You said it before we started the podcast, and you're saying it again now as if I'm going to give you an apology.
Because you were meant to have written down a letter. So if you're not writing down a letter, I'll tell you exactly what to say.
Do you think this is like year 6? I just write letters every.
I want you to look down the camera and say, Thomas Tuchel, I apologise for the mishap that I made in the prediction. And then that's it. It's fine. It's all over and done with.
I'm not apologising. But you know what? I apologise for thinking you were a dead team. You aren't an amazing team, but you're not a dead team. You're just not. You're an okay team. Like, you haven't won the big trophy yet. If you win the trophy, I'll bathe in milk. I've already said it because
2 baths incoming.
It's because I already know Villa and I already know West Ham aren't going to beat Leicester, and I'm going to bathe. I'll bathe in.
I'm starting to become suspicious that you actually want to bathe in milk.
I don't want to bathe in milk, but I just know it's not going to happen. This is how confident I am that Man City are going to win. Now I know you've beaten them twice on the bounce, yeah, but it's Man City want this. Do you understand how badly Man City want this?
Not as badly as us.
They want it bad. No, you guys have already got your one.
But
Man City don't have one. Aguero made the promise. Do you think Aguero's going to be doing those Panenka things again? Never going to happen again.
Of course he is.
Which was shocking,
Aguero
by the
won't
way.
start.
I don't know why he's done that. But he wants the Champions League. He said he won't leave until he wins Champions League. So he's going to go do that first. And then obviously, once he's done that, then they'll have a conversation about him dipping in it.
Can we talk about the fact that twice Man City should have exited this Champions League? Before the Champions League started, they should not be in it. The fact that they got away with entering is ridiculous. And 2, Dortmund, if the referee was okay and actually did the decisions, Dortmund should have gone through. City should not be in the competition.
Yeah, Dortmund should have won that. But I don't think. I think City have still got the sauce. They're gonna win it. They have to win it.
We're gonna be their bogey team. Thomas Tuchel is the bogey team.
Thomas Tuchel does know how to beat Pep Guardiola clearly, but I think we're good here. In terms of the semi-finals, I obviously bottled my prediction pretty badly. I'm doing a forfeit now, aren't I? Really, I think there's only one game left.
Should we go through the predictions?
We should go through the predictions.
So we normally do this later on, but we're going to do this straight away. So Man City PSG ended 2-0 Man City. Oh, I said it would be 2-2. Don't go that wrong. Jacob, you said it'd be 1-0, so you got 5 points there. And Sam, you said it'd be 2-1, so you got 5 points there. Chelsea Real Madrid finished 2-0. I said it'd be 2-1, so I got 5 points. Jacob, you said it'd be 4-1 to Real Madrid.
It's embarrassing.
And Sam, you said it'd be 2-1. So me and Sam got 5 points there. So the tally at the minute is, or the total, sorry, not the tally, is I've got 60 points. Jacob, you've got 50 points. And Sam, you've got 90. So
am I still in it?
You're
Champions League final?
Still in it. You have to get the perfect result.
Okay. If I get it right, can I make a prediction now? We'll make a prediction now for the final. We'll do it later.
Nah. We'll do it later on. It's in a couple. We'll do it when we're all together.
It's tight.
Because you can't beat you, but you can draw.
No. Yeah, so we do have to do a forfeit.
Oh.
So you're doing a forfeit.
I'm going to enjoy this.
Okay, all right. So I'm doing a forfeit, but I can bring you with me.
Yeah,
and that is
essential.
But if you well, we're not going to pick the same one, are we? So
no, I did think that.
Yeah.
I did think, I could just go for the same one as Jacob, but I'm not predicting City to win, just not to do a forfeit. I ain't doing that.
Yeah.
Because I ain't going to win.
I wouldn't be very fair.
Got to stick by your integrity.
Yeah.
So,
but it doesn't matter now because you're going to be wrong. Can I just think this is rigged. Honestly, like this is just Champions League. They were listening clearly to the podcast, and they decided, you know what, that kid there, that Jacob one, yeah, he has to do a forfeit because his predictions are terrible. That's what they've done clearly. So, whatever. In terms of the actual semi-finals, we haven't actually spoken about it. I mean, they were good games. Like, I genuinely thought PSG would do better.
I was quite disappointed with PSG. Particularly that second half where they just lost their heads completely.
Oh, that was disgraceful.
That was quite strange.
To be fair, how Fernandinho didn't get a yellow card in that game?
He should have been sent off. I don't know how he was on the pitch.
It was his birthday and he didn't receive a card. It's just pretty poor. So, I mean, Di Maria got sent off.
That was so stupid.
Why he did what he did, I will never know. But, he got sent off. And they weren't really there. Mbappe was injured, I think, as well. So
he
didn't even come on, did he?
No,
Neymar was don't get me wrong, I'm never going to disrespect Neymar. Of course I respect Neymar, he's a baller. But whenever he gets to these later stages, in any competitions I've seen, just disappears. Like even in Champions League, he wasn't there. Sometimes he's injured, to be fair. Like in Champions League, he's, casually just injured. World Cup, he was injured.
Yeah, to be fair, the World Cup wasn't his fault. He did get kneed in the back.
Yeah, he did. But you know what I mean? It's just,
have you two seen the video of, I think it was a Nike advert where the guys playing football turn into like the players and they'll say, "Oh, Neymar," and they'll jump into the player. Yeah. And the guy goes Neymar, turns backwards and passes it back. And the other guy goes, Neymar would never do that. He'd run forwards. And then the next screen is a picture of Neymar, or a video with Neymar playing against Man City. He turns backwards and passes it backwards. It's just complete
like a Neymar thing to do. So yeah, he's been listening clearly to what Nike have got to say about him. But the main game really was Chelsea Real Madrid. That was the most entertaining game, I think. The goals were great, to be fair. Well, Mount's goal was great. Werner's was easy. I mean, he couldn't miss it. He couldn't miss it.
He could easily clear it. No, he can clear it off the line.
You can't miss that.
Most people can't, but
Timo Werner
could have.
I could never have missed that, and you see me play football.
Yeah, but,
way I'm missing
you're not Timo Werner.
It's crazy.
Timo Werner has a special way
honestly,
of missing things.
I was expecting him to head it on the back of his head and it go backwards.
Yeah, wow. It doesn't matter now. You guys are through to the final, and speaking of,
I want to talk about the fact that game.
Sorry, you're going to talk about his club a bit more. Sorry,
of course. Hey, Champions League semi-finals don't come around every day. Right. So, I want to talk about the fact that game should have been, if we had an actual striker, that should have been about 7-1 on aggregate. And I'm not even like over exaggerating it. I genuinely think it could have been 7-1.
If you played Giroud up front, I feel like he would have got a lot more goals. I think he genuinely would have. I think he would have.
Havertz had a pretty decent game. I'm a bit annoyed that goal didn't go in. Because that would have been incredible. But we just can't. Mason Mount messed up. He blasted it over the bar at one point.
Yeah.
Kante's one wasn't his fault.
Kante can't really finish, so being in positions like that, I don't think you have to really worry about in the attacking front either way. Like I just don't really. That's not what he's there for.
Yeah,
no,
you can't really criticise him too much. It's not his.
If he had any end product, he'd be like up there with Yaya Toure in terms of how good of a midfielder he is, but he doesn't. So
no, I'm sorry, N'Golo Kante. He's got after his career, he's got to have been. Especially if you bear in mind, if we win the Champions League final, right?
Careful.
He's won the World Cup, the Premier League twice, and the Champions League. Surely he's got to be up there of one of the best midfielders to have walked the planet. Surely.
Yeah, look, he would have won almost everything you can in your career.
I mean, if you win the FA Cup as well, I don't know if he's won it before. I think no.
You could have won the Euros with France, but they lost in the final. Other than that, I mean, he's got this Euros coming up, and that's kind of his. I think that'll probably be his last one. He might be able to squeeze one more.
I think Kante has won the FA Cup, hasn't he? Because
I think so.
Didn't you win it in Conte's second season?
Yes. Yeah. So he's won Carabao, FA Cup, Premier League, World Cup.
He just needs Euros, and he's won everything.
And Champions League. He's won everything.
Did he not win Champions League with you?
No, he definitely didn't win the Champions League with us. That was 2012, mate.
Yeah, that was quite a long time ago.
Oh, yeah, that was time ago. I don't know why I thought he won it more recently. No, he didn't. Yeah, okay. If he wins Champions League, yeah, he does deserve it. I mean, he's the only player that I rate in that team because he's just so nice.
But all of a sudden, he's became incredible again. He's got back to his fitness. I think Tuchel's done really well of managing the older players. I think that's what, like Lampard rushed him in way too soon. Sarri did the same. And just recently, I think he's been one of the best midfielders again in the league.
Also, like he's kind of been played out of position for a few years, like particularly under Sarri. Sarri played him way more advanced than he usually wants to be. Although I kind of feel like maybe in the long term that's maybe benefited him because he has become better at dribbling and getting forward and contributing in the attacking third than he was at the start of his Chelsea career and at Leicester. And that's probably come from his time under Sarri. But now seeing him back in his proper role, able to just tear up everything in midfield and still contribute in the attack.
Yeah,
like,
and
since Tuchel has come in, he's maybe been the best midfielder in the league.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I think it's credit to Tuchel, and he came in at the very start because obviously I'm pretty sure every manager that comes in with Kante is going to play him in a different role because he can realistically play in different positions, but obviously his best position is the double two, the pivot. Is it pivot? No, it's not right. Whatever the role is, because people think that he can play there by himself, but the times that he's won the league. He's been with two people because it means that he can suddenly press out and just win the ball quickly.
He's definitely better alongside someone like, I mean, it's been Jorginho recently. I can't remember who it was. Fabregas under Conte. And at Leicester would have been Drinkwater, wouldn't it? So yeah. That's where he really excels when he's got another person alongside him.
So
yeah. Well, either way, you're through to the final now, so you can have your little celebration and get battered by City in the final.
But a team that hasn't made it through to the final.
Why did you steal my segue?
Because
it was really neat. We could have had an all-English final of 4 English players, but of course, my club has to ruin it. Because why would we want that? Why would we want all smiles, all English final? It's just too simple for Arsenal, isn't it? I've got a new shirt today, and it's just bringing it back to the old days, JVC thing. Sam, I don't need the history lesson. So,
do you know what it was? Do you know what it was? The last time there was an all English final, you look like mugs. So
last time the All-English final was literally last time you beat us. You beat us in the final.
Yeah, Arteta was like, "Nah, I don't want that again against Man United. We can't deal with that."
Do you know what frustrates me? Do you know what frustrates me the most? Because do you know what's funny is I'm watching the game while we're doing this podcast and I'm not even paying attention to the game. I don't understand how it is so easy to not make me look like a mug. It is so easy. Just deep it, right? All they had to do was score a single goal at home and I wouldn't have looked like a mug. Do you know what I mean? Like, you score one goal, you through to the final, and they couldn't do that. And now look at me, I look like an utter mug with my limited edition shirt to my left that I spent a whole heap of money on to support my club, and they can't score a single goal at home. You must be mad. The whole season has to be binned off now. I'm not in this Arteta in out thing because it's clearly more than that. We've just missed a sitter. I hate this club. I just can't deal. It doesn't. There's no urgency in the semi-final. It's almost like you had to remind them, hey guys, by the way, it's the last 10 minutes. We haven't scored. You hit the post twice. We've had 3 shots on target for both legs.
So let's bring on William.
And then let's bring on guys. Hey, this is Arteta's thinking. Yeah, this is what annoys me the most. And you could be Arteta in, Arteta out. I don't care. But what annoys me the most is there's been 3 shots on target. One was a penalty by Pepe. The other 2 were by Aubameyang, and he takes him off in the last 10 minutes of the game. The only person in both legs to get shots on target is Pierre Aubameyang, his name, and he takes him off in the last 10 minutes to bring on
that one.
William, who, by the way, don't know if you guys know, William hasn't scored a single goal for us this season, and he only got his assist in 2 games, which he got because he's like, I'm going to turn it on today. Do you know what I mean?
Was that first game of the
5 minutes later, first game of the season, he got 3. And then 5 minutes later, he brings on Nketiah. He scored 1 goal, well, not 1 goal. He's probably scored about 3 or 4 goals this season. It doesn't make any sense. There's no thinking that I understand. And he's making substitutions too late because he's thinking like he's his master, like he's Pep. Now, Pep can do it because of look who's got on the bench. Do you understand? He's got ballers on the bench. He's bringing on Riyad Mahrez, we're bringing on Willian. Do you understand there's levels to this game? Riyad Mahrez and Willian are 2 separate players, 2 different wavelengths. One is Conference League, one is Champions League. Do you understand how you can't be doing these things? One should be Vanarama. Do you know what I'm playing? Solihull Moors, Dorridge, them man. And this other one's playing against Barca, Real Madrid, PSG. Do you understand the difference? This is why it's frustrating, because he doesn't seem to understand we're a separate team. The recruitment has been poor from since the Clunkers have been here. And do you know what makes it even weirder is now that I understand how amazing Wenger was as a manager, because how that done got top 4 with Shamak up front, Frimpong in the middle, Yossi Benayoun. It's astounding. Could you imagine if we had the team that Wenger was getting top 4 with Arteta as manager, we'd be in League One. We'd be in League One.
You're going to hate me because obviously I don't like Arteta, just like you don't like Lampard. But do you think some of it is mentally now? Like, do some of the Arsenal teams, especially the senior ones, think, Arteta's young, he's putting the wrong people... Wrong substitutes.
Some of them are checked out. But do you know why they've checked out? And this is what I don't understand. And I told you this before in private. When you sat Lampard and got Tuchel, I was angry. I was genuinely angry because this club is moving like a proper big team who have had a history of like 12 years. Their history is younger than me, right? But they're acting like a big team, yeah? Arsenal, on the other hand, haven't done that. They're like, we're gonna go for experience. And for some clubs that works. If you're like trying not to get relegated or trying to stay mid-table in the Championship, you can do those things. But when we're trying to get Champions League, you're bringing a guy with 0 experience as a manager. When at that point, we had pulling power to maybe one last push to bring in a world-class manager. Yeah. Maybe. But now there's no chance. Because Rafa was looking for it. Well, he wasn't really looking for a job. He just gone China. But he probably would have wanted to come back. Allegri's out there. And it's shady because I feel like they've done it just because they want to save a bit of cash on the manager. Yeah, and that's why he's still staying. That's
the one difference between Chelsea hiring Lampard and Arsenal. I mean, we're in a lot better situation. In terms of Champions League and stuff.
This club is
rotten to the core. Lampard had some experience as a manager.
Yeah, he had some. And this is what you look at other clubs doing. They're doing it right. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was a bit early, and they've kind of got look at how good of a manager he's become. Yeah. He's on the job, and he's done well. He's had some rough patches, granted, but he's also shown that he can do things. You can say the same with Arteta because he's won trophies, but let's be honest, I don't see him being as good as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. You look at Liverpool, who have purposely been smart, leaving Gerrard out, because you know Gerrard is going to come and take the Liverpool job at some point in his career. They've left him up there. You know, you boss, because he's staying in contact with Liverpool and their executives. Yeah. Clearly, must be.
It's the same with Terry as well.
Yeah, of course. Terry's doing the same thing. They're like, Terry's like, you learn at Villa. You know, you're doing good at Villa as assistant manager. Eventually, you can go do a job in another country, maybe Scotland or Wales, and then maybe not Wales, but Scotland. Come back and then do a few more years, get some experience, work your way up, and then once we think you're good enough, you can come in and do the job. Same with Gerrard, he's doing the job in Rangers. He's got a bit of European football, you know, dealing with Europa League, so he's getting a bit of trust. And he seems to be able to, he got to knockout, so you know, that's good. He didn't just get knocked out in the group stage.
Yeah, they did a great
Arsenal
job.
Have given, yeah, of course, for Rangers, yeah. Arsenal have literally given Arteta 0 time. He's been assistant manager under, granted, a world-class manager, but also a manager who never really had a challenge. Let's be honest. He hasn't really had a challenge. He came into City when they were good, came into Barcelona when they were kind of struggling, not really. For Barca standards, they were. And then came into a Bayern Munich team who win the league every season. I mean, it's not difficult.
Yeah, I mean, there's no denying that Pep is a class manager, but he has always had.
We hired his cone man. We just hired his cone man and thought for the best.
I'm not segueing here, but it's similar to Lewis Hamilton in terms of people saying, "Oh, he's been in a Mercedes car. He's always going to do the best type thing." But he is also a very good driver behind it. There's a bit like Pep that he's always had the big teams, but he's also.
It's not just one thing that is the dominant force in that. Like, sure, you got a great team, but you also still need a great manager. Like you look at the difference between Lampard and Tuchel. Like Lampard is an okay manager, and he wasn't doing great with Chelsea. Instantly, you get a great manager in of Tuchel and one of the best sides in Europe. So that is the difference that having a great to a good manager can make, even if you do have a great team. That's also what makes me
so angry, is that it's not just about players. That example of Chelsea is the clearest example that changing in management can change everything.
Yeah.
Everything. Because when you look at that team before then, they were never going to get to Champions League final under Lampard. They probably wouldn't even qualify this season. They might do it. They might do it now. They pulled the trigger at the right time. They brought in a class manager, and they all of a sudden got Champions League final. We would have been. If we brought in. I know Rafa's looking at coming back to the Premier League, and I'd take Rafa in a heartbeat. Honestly,
the thing is, are you slowly falling into what's happening with Spurs now? Spurs have sacked Jose Mourinho, and literally every manager that is being linked to them is rejecting them. The Atalanta manager has just rejected them.
That's what I worry about. I worry that
Gareth
if we don't
Southgate,
pull the trigger, if we don't pull the trigger now, we're going to slip into that situation, aren't we? Because
there's not.
Although we have history, to be fair, we do have history to back that, and it only lasts so long. Fam, the last time we won the league, I think I was like 4. I was 4 years old. I'm 19 now. I'm an adult.
Yeah. Last time. When was the last time? Like, without being harsh, when was the last time you were in the Champions League?
5 years ago.
5 years ago.
So that's slowly wearing off.
I was just in secondary school. I just met you guys. That's when we were in Champions League.
we say, oh, give Arteta till January. What happens if Arteta puts them in such a bad position in January? I'm not saying he will, but to the point where he has to be sacked in January, and the new manager that comes in can't recover to get even European football. The reason
they're doing this is because they need not a scapegoat, but they need someone to pass the buck and I guess, invest less in. If you have a manager who has weight to him and can actually demand something from the owners, they're not going to like it, Kroenkes, because they're lazy. Let's be honest. The reason why Rafa left Newcastle is because he wanted this, and this. He said, I'm a world-class manager. I need the money to bring Newcastle forward. And Mike actually said no. He's like, all right, calm. I'm gone. Because you know who I am. You can't tell me no. I'm gone.
That was probably the weirdest thing of all as well. Because like the moment they sacked Rafa and they hired Steve Bruce, and then they spent 40 million on Joe Linton and 30 million on Sam Maxwell.
They hit the crossbar.
Could you not have done that under Rafa?
West Brom have hit the crossbar. I don't want to watch this game anymore. We haven't had a shot on target. All I've seen whenever I've looked at the screen is West Brom just hitting the post or having shots on. It's insane.
They've had
Callum Robinson.
Oh, this is not looking good for Arsenal. Almost a live commentary, yeah. Anyway, go back to... I don't know whether if you leave Arteta in for too long and it gets to a point where European football is a very massive struggle. That's 2 years out of European football. The pulling power is slowly going, especially Champions League pull is not there, surely, if you're out of Europe for 2 years. Yeah. Surely not.
Yeah, I know. That's what I mean. Have you seen the Knicks? We're looking at Achraf Hakimi. What? We're looking at Achraf Hakimi. How are we going to get Hakimi in? Are you mad? This is the things that doesn't make any sense to me. How is Mikel Arteta going to get on a Zoom call with Hakimi and be like, yeah, come to Arsenal? As if he's going to laugh him off? Are you mad? This doesn't make any sense to me. You can invest all you want. Some of these players that we're going to want to sign aren't going to want to come. I'm still skeptical about Yves Bissouma because there's clubs that want him that are in the Champions League. I don't think we're going to get him. This is the problem. I know we've got money in terms of wages because we've clearly spent it awfully for the past few years, but I just
yeah. I mean, on the topic
the thing is,
Trump.
I was gonna say, like, for quite a few years, big teams like Arsenal, even if you're out of Europe for a few years, you still have that name power to be able to, even if you finish like 7th in the Prem, you can still go to a manager who's just finished like 3rd in Serie A or the Bundesliga and say, who's in the Champions League, you can say, come to Arsenal, and they'll probably accept. But like now, maybe 2 years ago, Gasperini from Atalanta would have been happy to accept the Arsenal job.
Now.
But yeah, like why would he leave? There's no benefit.
Do you know what has just proven to me as well now? Literally just watching this game, the confidence that West Bromwich Albion are showing against us compared to how they did last time
No one's scared of Arsenal anymore.
Nobody fears us anymore. I personally have no personal experience of this, but I guarantee from watching old games, I've watched old, like Sky Sports show highlights of games that happened like 15 years ago. And I've watched some Arsenal games like that. The fear that teams like Leeds, Wolves, Villa used to have against Arsenal was insane. We are losing on shots. West Brom is shooting outside of the box because they think they can get a lucky goal. Saka's in on goal. He's probably not going to score. Oh, that's a penalty. But other than that, I'm so done. I'm so done with this sport. I'm so done with this sport. When you watch highlights, I need you to see this because this is actually disgusting. This is the problem.
I don't know if he won the ball there, to be fair. I don't know.
I'm the only one
he hasn't won the ball. He hasn't won the ball.
But anyway, without trying to carry on with live reactions.
Sorry.
He has won the ball, to be fair. He's won the ball and the man at the same time. The replay shows it.
Joke, man.
But it was close. But going on to building a better team and transfers, and you talk about Eid Basuma, and he's not linked at the minute. But maybe hear it first at the Active podcast. Could Chelsea be linked with Basuma?
You don't need him.
We're looking for a DM. We are looking for a DM.
He's not a DM though.
Oh, is he not? Is he more of a is he a box to box centre?
Box to box, yeah.
Because we're looking for someone that can basically replace
Sander Berger could be the one because everyone wants Sander Berger. But the thing is, right, is like I've had like my cousin is kind of in like the football circle. I don't really know what he does, but he just looks at players in it, and he thinks all these clubs are looking at Sander Berger, and he hasn't even been that good, really. If you look at his numbers, I can't tell you the specific numbers anymore, but they aren't that good, and he's getting relegated. Like, how many games have they won this? Like 2 or 3? Like, they're getting relegated, and he hasn't done much at all, really. So I don't really know how he's going to get into this league. I think he needs to go to the Championship, to be honest. I think he needs to do what Cantwell did and Buendia did, and have another season down there. If they get promoted again, calm. If he gets brought up from signing, fine, but he needs to prove himself a bit more because this season isn't good enough for him to be going to like Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea and being like, yo, why have I put my own club in there? What a joke. Going to Liverpool and Chelsea and be like, yo, I want like 90k a week and I want to be playing most games. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, is there any more transfer talks happening with Arsenal at the minute?
Other than Ashraf Hakimi and which for some reason is still going, which makes no sense to me.
The only reason that's still a thing is because it looks like actually fairly likely that he definitely could leave Inter Milan this summer because of their financial issues. I don't even know if they've paid an instalment that they owe to Real Madrid for it. It's like a 10 million they still owe. They're in a really bad situation.
Damn,
but
it's just like you can't pay it. The car got declined.
Yeah, but there's so many clubs that should absolutely sign Hakimi and they'll have way more pulling power than Arsenal. Like PSG. Yeah. Like, who's PSG's right back right now? Florenzi. They're
linked with Bellerin, actually, because Bellerin's leaving. By the way...
Who would you rather have, Hakimi or Bellerin? Like, Hakimi's like the best right back in the world.
Yeah.
Just go and get him. 40 mil. It's a bargain.
Is he a right back or right wing back? Because
he can play both, but he's better as a right wing back.
Yeah, I think he spent most of the last like 3 years as a wing back at Dortmund and Inter Milan, but he played right back. He's played right back as well, and he played right back in his brief minutes at Real Madrid, and he's very good there.
I mean, I'm comparing players that probably aren't comparable, but in terms of the attacking output and defensive output, I didn't know whether we were looking like an Emerson type or a Marcus Alonso kind
I'd say what he brings
attacking.
To the attack, I'd say closest to what you would know as Lamptey.
Yeah, I see the Lamptey comparisons, because he's rapid, of course, and he's a great dribbler. And he's also, I think he's got 7 goals, 7 assists in the league this season. So, yeah, he is elite, Achraf Hakimi.
Real quick, think about right backs. Real quick is another thing is the choice to start Bellerin ever again. He wants to leave the club, and for some reason, Bellerin still plays in the Prem, and in a semi-final when he's offered nothing to the club. You already know I hate on Bellerin. Our most popular TikTok is me not rating Bellerin, and for some reason, this clown still gets in the first team. It doesn't make any sense. He's already said he wants to leave. He has no fight for the club. He offers nothing. He does nothing but foul throws every game.
Well, I can't going back to the Hakimi and the topic of kind of transfers that aren't ever going to really happen, like realistically. There's one that's linked with Chelsea, and it's not going to happen, but it's Salah. He's linked with a move back to Chelsea.
He's not getting Champions League football this season, so he might want to come back.
But it's almost like when we were linked with Messi. It just seems a bit of a...
The problem with that is he going to win it because you guys play wing backs. You don't play wingers.
He'd play as an inside forward, like that number 10 role type thing.
Okay. Yeah.
But
I don't see why not. Salah wants to leave Liverpool. Well, I don't know if he wants to leave, but he's been a bit cryptic about his future at Liverpool since they didn't get not going to get Champions League.
But Chelsea? Do you think he'd go back to Chelsea after what happened?
I mean, it's not really personal with Chelsea. I think it's more personal with Mourinho. So,
yeah, I suppose.
He's gone. So I don't see why not. But I don't know if Chelsea are really going to want to go for him. You've got enough people in that position already.
Yeah, but that's the other thing. We've got enough people. He's going to cost an absolute fortune.
Yeah, he will.
But he is. So there's a transfer list of 3 people. You've got Haaland number 1, Lukaku number 2, and it's apparently Salah as number 3. So it would be, I presume, Chelsea would be their big spend that they're willing to pay.
Lukaku as well. Yeah, there's loads of Lukaku rumours as well, isn't there?
I think that's...
It's the same. It's the same as with Hakimi. Like, Inter are in a bad financial situation right now.
They've just won a Scudetto though.
Yeah.
Do they really have no money even after that?
I'm sure they have some money, but they're in pretty big debt, and I think you get less prize money for winning the Scudetto than you do for getting relegated from the Premier League. That's the difference.
Oh my God.
So
that's mental.
There's a lot of their players who could potentially be available. I think Lukaku's been quoted at like 90 to 95 mil, which
they want more than that. They want over 100.
Yeah,
because I think Chelsea said that they'll only pay 90.
Surely they only need to get rid of one of them two, and if they get rid of Lukaku, they're not going to want to get rid of Hakimi as well. Surely they've got enough to keep hold of him.
With Lukaku is he has actually, I think it was on social media, he came out and basically said he doesn't want to leave.
Well, of course not. He loves it there. I mean, he's
and also Conte loves him. Conte was the one that wanted to bring Lukaku back to Chelsea when he ended up going to Man United, and he wasn't happy about that. So he wants to stay. The manager wants him to stay. So I'm sure it'd be a last option really to sell Lukaku if they really needed to. So I can't see that happening anymore.
I think Lukaku's very happy there as well. I don't think he'd be particularly willing to leave.
Everyone seems happy there. I don't see anyone who's not happy.
Why would
you
be?
win the league? Yeah,
they're the first club that's not Juventus to win Serie A in a decade.
They got to a final last season as well. Don't forget that.
Yeah,
which was pretty big. Although they got battered, but they got there. These things. Conte is clearly a world class manager that you don't really not want to play under. Like if you're already there, especially like is Hakimi really gonna want to make the step now? I think there's a big thing about Arsenal is like when you had Wenger, you knew it was Wenger. It's Arsene Wenger. Now you're gonna go and you're going from Antonio Conte to Mikel Arteta, who. At the moment doesn't seem to know what he's doing yet. He's learning on the job. Do you really want to be wasting your time under a manager who's learning still? Not really. Mm-hmm. When you're at your prime at an elite level, you're not going to want to do that. So I don't know.
I personally think that next season is the biggest season for Arsenal.
Well, there's rumours he's only getting like 6 to 8 games before they pull the plug, so he better sort himself out because I don't really want to sit here and wait.
But I mean, even for the club itself, it's a massive season next season because I think next season, if you get Europa League or Champions League football, I reckon you've probably saved your club to some extent. If you don't,
but are we going to get Champions League football?
Well, but Europa League football, you could.
I'm so sick of being optimistic because I used to do this last season. I was like, last season, I guarantee I said at some point we're going to get Champions League.
You said you were going to win the league.
No, I didn't. Shush. I did not say that.
I'm pretty sure you did.
Don't you dare. In my prediction, I'm pretty sure I said Arsenal finished 4th and I was 6 places off. Like, how much of a mug do they make me look? Honestly. Not only did we not get Champions League football, we didn't get Europa League football either. Do you understand how mad that is? We didn't get the top elite sport, fine. I'm okay with being another season out of that. But then no Europa League either. No Europa League either.
It's not looking great, but
I'm off it. Can we just move on to something else because I don't want to rage about this anymore because my throat hurts.
Let's talk about the probably the biggest transfer news this week.
It's gonna be Chelsea related, isn't it?
It is.
Of course it is.
But
Yeah,
it is
I
also
know.
Man City related and Bayern related. It's
right, yeah.
Robert Lewandowski.
This doesn't make any sense to me. I don't think Lewandowski wants to leave Bayern. Why would he want to leave Bayern Munich?
I've seen is that he is a bit unsettled by the rumours linking Haaland to Bayern Munich, and obviously Bayern would like to see Haaland as Lewandowski's successor. But I imagine Lewandowski is thinking, I'm about to break the single season goal scoring record in the Bundesliga. I do not need a successor right now. He's better than ever. So,
I mean, the thing is as well, right? He's got, from a Bayern perspective, next season Bayern back themselves to get Haaland, and I back them as well. I think they'll get him if it comes to the release clause. I don't see why Haaland wouldn't move there, to be honest. So Haaland goes there. So 2 seasons. So it's 2 seasons time? Yeah, that's right. So after that, Lewandowski's only got a year on his contract when Haaland arrives. So next summer, when they buy Haaland, Lewandowski's going to go for very, very cheap because it'll be his last season on his contract. So this is kind of the last season that you can sell Lewandowski for a somewhat decent price. Plus he'll be how old? So that'll drop it down even more. So if you can get 60 mil for him now, it kind of
How old
seems...
is he as well? Was it 31,
He's 32 now. So by the time his contract
maybe
expires, he'll be
one
34.
contract left in him.
Yeah. So,
You could, if you gave him like another one, like with an extra year on it.
But
like
why
a 3-year deal.
why would he commit to an extra deal at Bayern? It's the same. I mean, obviously different caliber of players, but it's the same with Tammy Abraham. He doesn't want to commit to anything because of Haaland talks that he's coming in.
He could just be like another Thomas Muller. I mean, Thomas Muller doesn't play week in, week out, but he's still world class when he plays, but he can't play every game.
Lewandowski isn't a Thomas Muller though, is he? You can't.
No, I'm not saying that.
I don't see Lewandowski accepting anything other than playing every single week. This guy is the best striker in the world.
Yeah, it's.
I think they're just worried about his age. To be fair though, with how football goes, he could go up to his like 37.
Look at the players that have done it, especially this season in the Premier League. You've got Thiago Silva. Yeah, he's been injured for some of it, but he's been one of the better centre backs in the league. You've got Cavani, that's been incredible.
Scored today.
I mean, away from the Premier League, you've got Ronaldo that's doing it.
Yeah, I mean, Zlatan's the best example. He's like 40 now, and he has more goals than games. He's insane.
So, how old's Messi now?
Messi's what, 34?
So he's still doing it.
Yes! Okay, I'm sorry, I got a bit gassed because he scored against West Bromwich Albion. Oh my god! But
you know it's.
Do you understand, right, that we haven't scored a Premier League goal in ages since I think Sheffield United, and we haven't won a game since Sheffield United. So
do you know what's mad though as well? These are your academy players doing it.
That's what makes it the worst, isn't it? Because that's under 23s are what like in a fighting relegation battle in under 23s because all of our good players are in the Premier League.
What on earth is? Oh no! You know what I was just about to say.
Is that Saka? Yeah, Saka's playing left back, but not really because Willian's so trash. He has to come up and do all the assists. Like if Willian was actually any bit competent, he would have made that pass. Sorry, Sam, you're not watching this, but yeah, what a finish from Smith Rowe as well. He's something special, man. You know, we love him on the show. Speaking of people we love on the show, Lewis Dunk scored against Brighton Hove Albion. I got a bit gassed, and then he didn't.
No, he didn't. That's a lie. You've messed that one up, mate.
Lewis Dunk scored.
Not against Brighton.
Against Wolves. Against Wolverhampton Wanderers. But then they bottled it last minute. Adama Traoré with a late finish. Is that his second goal of the season?
It was Gibbs White,
yeah,
but you know.
It's his second goal of the season for Adama. But it was Gibbs White who won it.
You bottled it again?
Oh, was it Gibbs White? I bottled it again. You can tell I didn't watch the game, can't you? I just got a gas when I saw it on my phone that Lewis Dunk had scored. It was class.
Yeah.
So
the last 15 minutes of that game were kind of insane.
Was that Gibbs White's first Premier League goal, or was he scored before?
Yeah, he scored. That's his second goal for Wolves. The first one was in the Europa League. That's his first in the Premier League. And honestly, it was a really nice moment actually because he gets a lot of stick online, Gibbs White, and particularly about 10 minutes before he scored.
I was going to say, rightly slow.
He missed an absolute sitter. I mean, absolutely skied it over the bar in a basically open goal. And I thought, Morgan, he's going to get ripped apart as well. Had a good game up to that point, but then he goes and scores the winner. You love to see it.
Yeah, fair play to him. I mean, he's been around for a minute, but then he went out on loan start of the season.
Yeah, I mean, he was really like a bright star a couple of years ago.
Like in year 10, when we were like year 9 or 10, I remember you and some of our friends just talking about him.
It was our first season of the Prem. He was great. I remember him having a couple of amazing games against Chelsea. You probably remember Ewan. He changed the game when we beat Chelsea at the Molineux.
You didn't watch back then.
No, of course.
I try and like
he was great
just forget about the Wolves wins against us. To be brutally honest with you,
same.
They're quite painful.
That never happened in my head. So we've always beaten Wolves.
But he struggled with injury a lot of last season, and then he went out on loan at the start of this season to Swansea. He started well, then he picked up a bad injury. We brought him back in January, and he's had like minutes here and there. But it's good to see him playing well again. But it's really been our youngsters who've done it for us recently. Vitinha is a baller. Finally, starting to get a regular run in the side. He was amazing against West Brom. He was great.
Start of the season, he was doing really well.
The thing is, broadly talking, if you actually look at it, the youngsters in the Premier League are actually doing it for a lot of clubs. You've got the Chelsea youngsters, obviously being incredible over the last 2 seasons. Arsenal youngsters have been pretty decent.
Shush.
You've got Man City Foden.
You can't get my team, can you?
You've got Man City's Foden doing really, really well. There's a lot of youngsters in the Premier League at the minute that are just almost stealing the show. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's
most of like the player of the season candidates this year are probably going to be pretty young. I mean, you look at Ruben Diaz is up there. People putting Phil Foden up there. I'm not convinced about that.
No.
We've done quite enough to be a player of the season nominee. Next season, I wouldn't be shocked though.
I don't think he's played enough this season yet.
Yeah.
I'm not in this position. I mean, Guardiola says he refuses to play him in Cam yet because he doesn't think he's ready yet. So when he establishes his
I'm not convinced with him in Cam yet. I'm not going to lie.
I think people don't understand that. Like, I feel like Cam is a very important role to want to put like a youngster in.
You need to have a lot. You need to have like incredible,
a lot of good knowledge,
awareness, and intelligence.
And the reason why Mason Mount does so good in Cam, Ewan, is because he's been in Cam for a few years now. I mean, when you look at how he did it, what was it, in Eredivisie, was it Venlo or another one starts with Vitesse? Yeah, he bossed it there. Insane stats. And then obviously at Derby didn't do too bad either. So he's gotten over time, and he's not a teenager anymore. He's had time to really develop. Yeah, he's had time to develop a knowledge of the game, so he's allowed to be there. Whereas Foden, I think he needs a bit more time. You know, he hasn't been on loan. You know, he's only been able to develop at City, which means he's only been allowed to develop there. So, you know, that's why I think it takes a bit longer. But now, as he's had his season, you know, I'll raise it a little bit more.
The thing is, right, from what I see from Foden,
Nicolas Pepe! You know that he scored a finesse shot out of the box. Do you know what I'm saying?
That's one of those ones that you use him on FIFA with. But
I'm not doing that.
The thing with Foden, right, is he doesn't strike me as a Cam. Like his pace, his skill, he seems like, if anything, like an inside winger.
I think we haven't seen him pick up passes like that yet, though. Like, if we see him pick up some mad passes, then we'd be
If you look at like typical Cams, they don't seem as powerful in terms of speed and skillful as what Foden is.
Yeah, like Foden, he does definitely. He seems like someone who, because his pace and his dribbling is so good, and he's been so effective this season, like cutting inside, rather than actually occupying that middle space from the start. I mean, I could see him just like staying out there, to be honest, and being amazing.
I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't play in Cam for England.
I wouldn't expect him to play Cam for England.
But that wing is very competitive as well. Is he going to get on that?
Not for the younger ages, I don't think. You've got younger ages. You've probably got, in terms of that age group, is probably Foden.
Yeah, but he's playing senior.
Odoi.
But I'm talking about like for senior England squad, he's not going to get on the wing, is he?
I think he will. I think
the more and more, like, I'm starting to think I could see him starting on the wing, particularly considering Sterling has not had a great season.
Well, if you're starting over Sterling in the Premier League anyway, you've got to make it over him in the England squads. And you've got Rashford is the other one.
Rashford has
you've got Sancho
season
as well.
People don't talk
Sancho's
about.
I know. Winger, he's not.
I slated Rashford, but Rashford has had a great season. He got an assist today as well.
Rashford's been incredible.
God, yeah. Sometimes I feel like Rashford is like, Cavani's there somewhere. Let me just whip in. He'll find it. He's seeking missile. Honestly, but he's had a really good season with the amount of goals and assists he's got. So
he's been really impressively consistent over the last 3 years. He's just like United's main man. They've had a lot of their other attackers have been really inconsistent. Pogba is like one of the most inconsistent players in the Premier League. Martial had a great season last season, but he's been terrible this season, and previously he's kind of all over the place. Cavani's come in this season and started being good, but he missed a lot of the early season through injury. And all through that, Rashford is just sticking at it and just consistently playing really well.
I think what the problem with him is that he's too old for the Wonder Kids debate.
Yeah, and he's like 24 now, isn't he? Jeez.
Yeah, exactly. So he's been around for ages, but he's also too young for the under 23s debate because he's 24. And he gets overshadowed in terms of his team debate because of Bruno Fernandes.
I would prefer to see him playing up top after Kane fizzles out.
No, I think he does more. I think he does more on the wing than
but he's played striker quite a lot for United. He just never seems that comfortable.
No, he doesn't. He offers a lot more on the wing. Like his playmaking ability is very underrated. Like his passing and stuff like that is pretty good. He has decent finishing as well, but when he's on the wing, he can offer both of those things just as good. Whereas up front, you can't really do that.
I feel for England, we've got a massive gap coming up. After Kane goes, there doesn't seem like a striker that'll be experienced enough. I mean, you've probably got Greenwood is potentially the next striker.
I hope so.
Yeah,
he's got some good form recently, Greenwood, and I hope hopefully by the time Kane starts to drop off, which would probably be in 3-4 years, maybe depends because he's very injury prone, so it could be earlier. Hopefully by that point, Greenwood has really started to step it up.
But I mean, Greenwood's 18 or 19. Yeah, 3-4 years is only 22.
Yeah,
that's very young for a world class striker. We have almost 3 or 4 years where we don't have almost like a Harry Kane level striker for England, which is yet we'll have everyone around. They'll have a Sancho, a Foden if he's playing left wing, Mount if he's playing in cam. We have almost. I'm not saying the world class before Jacob goes, Mason Mount world class, but a solid 3 around him. Yet Greenwood could potentially. I mean, don't get me wrong, he could end up shooting off, but at that age,
we also never know. Someone could just come out of nowhere and. Haaland came out of literally nowhere.
Yeah, so that's true.
It's not impossible to happen.
Tammy Abraham.
You never know, man. Ivan Toney could be the next Harry.
Yeah, Ivan Toney could actually be sick because he has
broken the championship record for goals in the season.
Exactly.
And the thing that we've learned recently from the Champions League is the Champions League is moving from the the Championship to the Premier League is a lot easier than some of the other leagues.
Yeah.
You see people moving from the Eredivisie struggle quite a lot, like Ziyech and Van der Beek and people like that. But generally, stepping up from the Championship. Championship's a much higher quality league than people give it credit for.
Yeah,
it's probably
the likes of Maddison and people like that who've just stepped up and just bossed it in the Premier League immediately.
Yeah, well, it's all of the Chelsea academy players obviously was on loan in the Championship.
Yeah. I think it's probably in the top 10 of European leagues. Honestly, it's probably.
I would agree. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely up there. So I rate the Championship.
It's a test Premier League.
You could look at Abraham if he gets his move and he could actually prove himself again because he was getting caps before he came in. So.
I feel so sorry for Tammy Abraham. I mean, we haven't really touched on him at all, but this guy is top goal scorer for Chelsea 2 years running.
Yeah.
Right. The pass if let me start again. If he had the same delivery as what Timo Werner had, I'm telling you, he'd be on 20 plus goals. Right.
Yeah.
Because
I could definitely see him finishing a lot of the stuff that Werner's missed.
The guy was finishing those type of stuff at the start of last season.
We call him tapping Tammy as a joke, but he's really good at scoring tapping.
Positioning wise.
Yeah.
Can't be denied.
Yeah.
And he's one
you
of
have to be there.
Yeah.
He's people don't give him credit for how quick he actually is, for how tall he is. Once he gets going, honestly, it is ridiculous. And I said before, the one thing that he needs to improve on, and he'll improve on that through Giroud, is his build-up play. And you can see if you go and look at clips from Tammy Abraham at the start of last season to probably the start of this season when he was playing, his build-up play has improved massively. But for some reason, no one the reason is he didn't get time is because we just bought a 50 million striker. And I'm sorry, but it's clear and obvious that Tuchel has been told he has to play Werner because we're just shoving him in now for the sake of shoving him in.
Feels like the same way of like Willian at Arsenal. Like he just plays because he has to. Like he's playing today and he's offered nothing again. Like,
yeah, it's so annoying when you've spent that money. Like we spent 70 million on Havertz and he doesn't get pushed in all the time. Yet for some reason Timo Werner has to play. Like
the amount of money you spent, you got to justify it, haven't you?
And also you look at the performance relatively. Havertz has been class for the last 2 months, and Werner has just kind of been the same. So, the fact that I would say Havertz has only in the last 3 games got a regular starting run. I wasn't even confident he would start against Real Madrid. So
yeah, I just think
compared to Werner, who you just always know is going to start, feels a bit unfair.
It's unfair. I mean, I can somewhat understand that he does get the assists. As much as Timo Werner doesn't score, he's still the contribution.
And his movement is great.
Yeah.
I
think the thing is, if you drop Werner, that's going to kill his confidence as well. So you don't want to do that, really.
See, I reckon, for example, the game against Man City where you are playing a rotated team, just drop him and he'd be like, it's fine, I'm first team material type thing anyway. Gives him a rest. Let the guy have a rest and kind of almost... I'd be interested to see how he starts next season when he's had that rest and almost like a reset in mentality. If he starts next season is just as bad, I think it's over for him. I don't think there's no reset in mentality that he can do to get back into it.
Interesting to see how he does at the Euros as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
If you perform like he did in the, was it friendlies or qualification, he's not getting in, is he?
He's never been that good for Germany, has he?
Not really. That's what I find funny. I think that could have been a red flag because although he's doing good in the Bundesliga, for Germany, I haven't really seen him do amazing.
I never really judge him too harshly because ever since they won the World Cup, Germany really haven't been that good. I think Joachim Löw has really overstayed his welcome as their manager. He's finally leaving after the Euros, and they'll get Hansi Flick in, and they'll probably be much better.
That'd be big, Hansi Flick.
Yeah, but Germany have always been they've been the last 7 years. They've been a weird team.
I think it'll be a big test for Hansi Flick because he's been manager of Bayern, which I'm not gonna lie, it's not hard, is it? You just win the league every season, you find
they haven't really been these, undefeatable beasts that they've been somewhat made out to be, particularly this season. I mean, they got their defense against PSG, for example, in the Champions League was awful, and they've had some really bad results in the Bundesliga as well, where their defense has been exposed. I don't think Flick's a particularly good defensive manager, but attacking wise, obviously pretty incredible.
I mean, I'd like to see Havertz turn into a number 9, to be honest.
That's where he's kind of been playing, isn't it? And he's been much better.
He played there for Leverkusen before we signed him. He's played there recently for us, and I think it suits him. Especially for Chelsea, for example, you'd have to take out Mason Mount to put him there. They're both basically cams, but playing him up top, it just gives him more free. And he's tall; he can get on the end of things, and he's very clinical. To be fair to him. Which is, going back to the transfer stuff, which is why I think just maybe don't hold on for a bit for the striker. We're not going to get Haaland with the price that they're going to pay. We won't pull Haaland afterwards. Maybe don't go in for Lukaku and Lewandowski because they're old, and just kind of gamble a bit with Havertz and get a decent winger or something if you want to play four at the back, like a Sancho or something. But yeah, that's about it with the transfers and talk on that. Do you want? Do you want to quickly go into the Formula One?
We could talk about it. Wasn't the best race I've ever watched, but it never is at Barcelona. It's a pretty track. But I mean,
what I thought was cool was Bottas not wanting Hamilton to pass him, which is quite funny.
That was kind of cool.
Yeah, it's a bit weird. But other than that, I didn't really notice much.
Nah, I rate it because Bottas is getting fed up now.
Yeah,
but how you have to? I mean, it's to do with Hamilton. What can you can't just be like, I'm fed up of you being so good. Just be better.
I'm not a massive fan of team orders myself. I'd rather just let them race.
Oh yeah, for sure. There's been a couple of occasions where I think Bottas has had to give up wins for Hamilton, and that's you don't want to see that. But Bottas was never never going to beat Verstappen. So Hamilton getting past was kind of inevitable. And it was cool to see them actually racing each other rather than just Bottas pulling off to the side.
Yeah, I mean, he did it when Russell was in the Mercedes, Russell and Bottas.
Oh, yeah.
And that was amazing.
Well, the thing with that one was, I'm sure Bottas then was like, well, it's not Hamilton, it's Russell. I should be the favourite to win this race. And, and he got pole, and he thought, I am free to battle Russell here, because Russell is not like a challenger in the Drivers' Championship or anything, so I'm free to give it my all. And he got beat.
Yeah, he did.
Work out for him. Yeah.
But I mean, going on George Russell, he's been incredible this season already. The way I don't know whether it's the Williams car that's improved massively or just Russell is on another level.
There's definitely some improvement in the Williams car because, I mean, for one thing, it's not the worst car. Incredible, but it's a really changeable car. Depending on particularly the wind, it can be really decent or really bad. And I think for most of the race, the wind was really low, but and so that allowed the Williams to be a bit faster. But towards the end, it did start to pick up, and Russell lost a lot of places towards the end, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean,
but he was up as high as 10th, 11th. So
which is mental. But talking about the end, Lewis Hamilton, Mercedes, they're honestly whoever is in there, I don't know who it is, I can't remember, but whoever does their tactics and stuff, it's ridiculous how many times their tactics have just worked.
Yeah, it's I think. I'm glad to see that there's actually a battle going on for wins consistently between Verstappen and Hamilton, but it seems like along with Hamilton just having that edge in experience and probably still having that edge in pace as well over Verstappen, Mercedes definitely have the strategical edge over Red Bull. They just seem to, whenever Red Bull seem to be faster than them, Mercedes switch something around, they change something up, and they're back in the race.
Yeah, it's why I think you've said, I can't remember if it was on the podcast or off the podcast, you said that it'd be a tighter race or a tighter championship. I because eventually when Lewis Hamilton just wins, I mean there's 15, 19, something around that amount of points off them. I think eventually Lewis Hamilton will just run away with it just because he's won so many more. And I think Verstappen will come second in a lot of them, but the drop off between the points you get for first and second after a while, it just ends up being ridiculous. And I think Lewis Hamilton will probably win it within 2 races left. Again.
I could see that happening. I hope it doesn't. I hope Verstappen is able to. I really want Verstappen to win at Monaco, and I could definitely see him winning at Monaco because Red Bull are traditionally pretty damn good at Monaco. They've won there with Ricciardo a couple times when the Red Bull car clearly was not as good as the Mercedes, and now the Red Bull car is much better. I think they've got a real chance there as long as Verstappen can get pole. Then they should win theoretically.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing. And I mean, I suppose it doesn't really matter who because Monaco's can't overtake. But Hamilton is ridiculously good at keeping people behind him at Monaco. I mean, he complained about his tyres.
The last Monaco Grand Prix a couple of years ago, obviously it got cancelled last year, didn't it? But the last one, I remember Hamilton's tyres were virtually exploding. They were on the verge of just disintegrating entirely, and he still managed to hold Verstappen behind for probably 15, 20 laps.
Yeah, so I think if Hamilton gets pole, or even if he gets in front of him at any time in the race, I think that's the problem. I think as soon as Hamilton's in front of Verstappen a lot of the time, Hamilton will win it because he's so good. He knows how to lead a race.
Yeah, it's all that experience, all those years of domination. Yeah. Just, whereas Verstappen, if you swapped the two drivers in their cars in this race, I think Hamilton may have won still. I just think Hamilton, obviously the Mercedes car in the final stint was going much faster than the Red Bull, but I just think Hamilton could have held on that little bit longer.
His experience is ridiculous, and I think a lot of people underrate how good Lewis Hamilton is. I mean, there's obviously the talks of who is the best ever Formula One driver. You've got Senna, Schumacher, and I personally think it's Lewis Hamilton, and not many people like it. I think that's also to do with his personality. People don't like, but he's just incredible. Like no one has done what he has done.
Yeah.
And yeah, his car's a lot better than other people. But when you've got Bottas that's still fighting off whoever's in third or fighting for second.
Bottas was getting overtaken by Leclerc at the start of the race.
Yeah. And you've got Lewis Hamilton that's in the same car that's 15 seconds ahead of people most of the time when he's in first. Like, there is clear and obvious proof that he's ridiculously good.
I think there's a quote last week from Nico Rosberg, which I really agreed with. He said, Verstappen is finally starting to understand how good Lewis Hamilton is. Like, you don't really get it until you're actually competing with him. And then you're like, oh, this is Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing is we haven't seen, I mean, the last year and a half, not year and a half, year to 2 years, Lewis Hamilton's run away with it easily. But you had Rosberg fight against him. He only came out and did well once. Vettel has got the better of him the most. But he's struggled as well at times with Lewis Hamilton. It's just incredible how Lewis Hamilton ends up just overcoming anyone that comes against him a lot of the time. And he's a Formula One record holder for a lot of things for a reason. He's not there just because he's in a fast car.
Pretty much everything at this point. He's hit 100 poles this weekend now, which is, I think, 32 more than anybody else. He's on the verge of 100 wins. What can you say? It's just insane.
So, but on that note, I think that's it. We're going to let Jacob go and watch the rest of this game because he seems a bit happy. Today's been a better day for Jacob.
I mean, I keep getting gassed, but I need to calm down because it's West Bromwich Albion. Like, they're going to get relegated, so I need to chill out. But
I think this game will relegate them, won't it? Very nice.
Do you think maybe actually?
Yeah, I think it will. So I'm going to have to watch the second half to see them get relegated.
Just look how amazing Saka has been. He's playing left back, but they're doing a whole analysis on him because this kid is insane right now.
I'm not going to lie. I actually think Saka can be better as a left wing back than he has been over the times in right wing.
Yeah, potentially, but mainly because of what he offers with his left foot instead of his right. And he could do the overlap so well, but obviously he's not a defender and he need people behind him to back him. Maybe a centre back you can fill in. But
I mean, you could. I mean, it'd be interesting if you put Tierney left centre back, Saka left wing back.
That's what we did. That's what we used to do. We used to do that with when we were doing fire at the back. You know when we beat you in the FA Cup final. Yeah, I'm sure you remember that. We did that. And we just had it was Make the Niles then, but we've done it where we've had Tierney and Saka. They alternate, so one will make a run, the other one sits back, and the other one makes a run, the other one sits back. And they do that for Scotland as well with Tierney and Robertson. So yeah.
Anyway, cheers guys for watching that. Go have a look in the description for the links for our Spotify, Twitter, TikTok, our extras channel,
clips. Get on that.
And all of the other links and stuff. Go hit that subscribe button. I think we're on 42 subscribers. I think I've got it right that time.
Let's get 50.
Let's try and get 50. And if you enjoyed it, go click that like button. And see ya.
All right.
See ya.
Yo, my foot is huge.